All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Looks like we got a full house tonight. So.
All the way to that.
Good to see you. I'd like to call order this May 6, 2025 regular council meeting. Please rise for the invocation of being stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are thankful for your blessings upon our village, upon all of our workers, our first responders. We ask that you would bless this meeting and give us wisdom and understanding and discernment, that we would make proper decisions for the betterment of this village. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next is the verbal roll call for council members present for the record.
Councilmember Back.
Present.
Councilmember Cooper.
Present.
Councilmember Joey. Present. Sorry about that. Councilmember Sands.
Present.
Councilmember Sexton.
Present.
Vice Mayor Atkins.
Present.
Mayor Dickerson.
Present. Okay, tonight we welcome a couple of guests that wish to speak. First speaker is Kate Baker from Montgomery County Recorder's Office. And then our second speaker will be John, I'm going to kill this probably, sir. Minder, thank you. Solid Waste Management District and Operations. Go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Mrs. Kennedy wishes to be here, but unfortunately she had an illness in the family last minute that she couldn't make it. So thank you for allowing me to speak. In front of you is folders from my office. I don't know if you've heard in the news lately, we've had a deed fraud problem in Montgomery County, and Recorder Kennedy's trying to solve it. So we need your help. You are citizens of your community, people know you, and you can help spread the word to sign up for our programs. Our first program is fraud alert notification. Does everybody know what fraud alert is? Okay, so you know when someone steals a car, it's car theft. When someone steals your identity, it's called identity theft. The bad actors have moved on to stealing people's homes. They falsify documents, and from there they can take your property. So we're asking people to please sign up for our fraud alert notification. You can do that inside our brochure that's in front of you, and there's some in the back of the table. In the front, there is a QRC code. You can go on and please sign up. Please let everybody know whether you have commercial property, rural property, or property in town, because you don't know when you become a victim. And this is a free program. We offer it to your residents in Montgomery County, and we'd like you to help us to spread the word, please. Also in the folder is called Transfer of Debt. There's a brochure. This will help alleviate probate time as your property after you pass at a state of probate, and it helps your heirs to have your property transfer right to them faster than it's be sitting for 2 years in probate. So we're asking you to please come in, file an affidavit. They're on our website. We do an active legal advice in our office. We'll notarize for free. We'll record them after they're filled out. There's a recording fee for $50 to $60. And then my example is Donald has property. He wants to leave it to his 3 nephews. He fills out the documents. He has it recorded. And upon Donald's passing, the 3 nephews come in, they'll fill out an affidavit saying, yes, Uncle passed. They'll have his death certificate. That also will be recorded for $50 to $60. And the property will transfer within a few business days to Donald's nephews. This avoids almost 2 years of probate. Attorneys, I don't know if you know, they're about $900 an hour. While it's in probate, you cannot rent it, VRBO it, or sell it. So you're paying for maintenance, mowing, insurance, and taxes for a long time while the property is not being used. So this is a very good instrument. Please share this also with your contacts. Our other program is a Veterans ID. When a veteran is honorably discharged from our services, they'll bring us a DVD 214. On the bottom right-hand corner, will have an instrument number, it's been recorded. And the funeral director is going to look for this. This will help the veteran if he wants to be buried at the VA. He probably has chances on a free headstone. And usually even the veteran the family will have benefits that will be given to the family, their death benefits. So please share this. In the back also on the table, there's our outreach list of dates that you can come out to our free to the veterans, VFW, to American Legions in the county. They were also going to do these every day downtown or office. Do you guys have any questions about the programs? Okay, so please, yes.
The fraud alert. I haven't, obviously, I haven't actually taken the time to read this yet, but, so when they file, does the recorder's office pull the title, pull the deed? Is that the way it works? And
So when
then,
somebody comes in after they've executed false documents, since Recorder Kennedy's came in office January 1st, we've implemented more guardrails to protect our citizens. So you have, before a property can transfer, the auditor, Carl Keith, usually the papers would go right to him. He would transfer, and we would only record. Now, everything comes to our office, we check every piece of mail to make sure it has the proper guardrails and make sure that whom says is the owner is actually the owner. Is the notary actually licensed with the state? Are they in good standing? Is the property actually theirs? And there's other factors that we check. We don't do all that our secrets. But we check to make sure that document meets all the criteria for a proper transfer to this new person.
okay, thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have questions for me?
Is the veterans office still open in Old Sandy's?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna be done there. We'll be at the fair for the week. We won't be doing IDs there. You never know if you have an electric in the middle aisle, so I'm not sure where to improve it, but we do this every day in our office, and we also have the outreach days available. We always add word it, so please check. Anybody else have questions? If you please put this on your social media when it's up and running, please share this with your family and friends, and I appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you again.
Thanks, Ingrid.
Okay, Mr. Minier, you're next, sir. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, staff. Thank you for having me here tonight. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. And front of you is a approximately 6-page document, and I'm probably only going to cover a few pages of that, so it'll be relatively short. First, kind of a little history about what a solid waste management district is. Back in 1988, Ohio legislation passed House Bill 592. It's also known as the Ohio Solid Waste Law. That law basically required that all county commissioners in every county adopt and pass and develop a solid waste management district. You can be a single county district, a multiple county district, 1 or 2, 3, 4, whatever. Or you could be a solid waste authority. And we have all of those combinations here in Ohio. Montgomery County is a single county district. The other thing that this piece of legislation did is it requires that the state develop a solid waste management plan in which solid waste districts must follow the goals and objectives of that state plan. And then it also required solid waste districts to develop their plans. Originally, it was a 3-year plan to be updated and basically every 3 years. We now have a 5-year plan that's required to be updated every 5 years. This is Montgomery County's 9th solid waste management plan. And so I'm going around to all the municipalities. Our village of New Lebanon is my last one. So I've been to 28 of them and it's been fun. I've actually learned a lot. And this is my second car meeting. Last night I was in Trump and they had the exact same issue you guys did tonight. So it was really kind of interesting to hear that. So sorry for that kind of divergence there, but I thought it was really interesting. So Montgomery County is updating its solid waste management plan. And there's a couple key factors in there. One is that the new state solid waste management plan has 10 goals that we must meet. And I'm not going to focus on all 10 of them. 8 of them are programmatic. They're either through education or operating programs, which we meet all of those 8. The 2 that I want to really focus on are really important to our residents and businesses here in Montgomery County. And that is, first, we must guarantee that we have enough disposal capacity to cover 20 years. So that means that we have to figure out a way to manage our trash that's going to be buried for a period of 20 years. In Montgomery County, of course, as many of you know, we own and operate a transfer station in the city of Moraine. And all of the residential trash and a good portion of the commercial trash go to that transfer station. We have a contract with Rumpke, and we take it down to their landfill in Cincinnati and then also in Brown County. So we have capacity met there. And then, of course, Waste Management has Stony Hollow landfill, which according to their current permit at the current volumes that they're taking in, they have 30 years of capacity remaining on that permit. So we met that criteria. The second goal is a waste reduction and recycling goal. And that, it used to be that their industrial had meet 60% waste reduction, and commercial and residential was combined together, and that was a 25%. The industrial goal has kind of gone by the wayside, and principally because the industrial sector has really exceeded that 60% goal for a number of years. Here in Montgomery County, we still track it. They're at about 92% here in Montgomery County. So industrial sector does a great job at waste reduction, and there's a lot of reasons and rationales behind that. Our commercial goal is 25%. Again, that's a combined rate between commercial waste and residential combined. Currently, Montgomery County is at 25.3%. So we meet that goal. There's one other goal that is more for more rural districts, but all districts can apply for it, and that is a participation and accessibility. So if you don't have a lot of commercial business and you have a lot of residential, it's going to be a little bit difficult to meet that goal. So what the state did is allow this participation. So you set up recycling drop-offs or recycling programs through your community to basically provide access to your residents to participate. And you must meet an 85% standard for that. Just by chance, Montgomery County also meets that requirement. So we meet all the state goals and objectives under that. I really want to focus next on things that are going to impact your residents. And one is Montgomery County operates a number of programs, and you may be familiar with some. We provide grants to communities. We provide grants to businesses. We provide grants to nonprofit organizations, schools, and then we also provide a litter and illegal dumping enforcement grant as well. We have an environmental education learning center where we have about 25 to 3,000 kids go through a day. We, at the transfer station, we operate a household hazardous waste day every Tuesday. We had one today. Sorry if you were there in a line. And then we have a yard waste facility. We take tires. Montgomery County residents are allowed 10 free tires. Do not transport more than 10 or you'll be breaking the law. You can get away from the health department. But if you live in Montgomery County, you can do 10 tires at no cost to you. And those are passenger tires, by the way. We also operate a very unusual event that Montgomery County started. It had nothing to do with me because I wasn't here when it did, but that's the tire buyback program. And every September, we basically buy tires back from the public, and that's geared toward cleaning up alleyways, cleaning up ditches, cleaning up the rivers, just various places, and people will go out, collect those tires, bring them to us again, 10 tires at a time. You can bring as many as you want that day, but only 10 at a time. And we pay $2 a tire for that. So we do have people that are very aggressive, and the record is 9 trips. That's the most we've had. Yeah. They're very creative of how they do that. That's another program that we operate. Of course, with programs and staff and things of that nature, you have to fund your program. Back in 2010, Montgomery County had a $2 a ton waste generation fee that helped provide funding for the solid waste district. And then we also got some revenue from the landfill. And for a number of years, we were basically living off a cash balance. We didn't raise fees or anything from 2010 until currently. 2 years ago, we met with our financial advisory committee, which is made up of city managers and fiscal officers, village administrators and fiscal officers, and then of course township and their fiscal officers as well. We presented to them our budget for the 20 years, and it had a deficit showing that would occur in 2026. And in other words, our balances were no longer available. So we have to propose, as part of our plan requirements, through EPA, a balanced budget for 20 years. So this particular plan is recommending in 2026 a 65-cent increase. So we'll go from $3 a ton that we passed in 2010 to 65 cents. So what does that mean to your residents as far as cost-wise? The average home in Montgomery County generates about 1 ton of garbage a year. So basically, it's 65 cents a year. Or that translates into about 5 cents per household per month. Your waste hauler, who I believe is Rumpke, they will probably be coming to you and asking for a pass-through. Most contracts allow for pass-through for governmental fees, those types of things. So the other part of that is the Financial Advisory Committee did not want a large increase in 3 years. They wanted to soften the increases year over year. So there is a 6% increase each year thereover, which that translates into 22 cents a year or about 2 cents per month. So that's the financial piece of the plan. It does guarantee that we won't have to raise fees again. The plan does get updated in 5 years, so we will be looking at that again. But we feel pretty strongly that through the management of our programs and other financial mechanisms, we will probably not have to do this again. This is a unique funding program. There's no other solid waste district in the state of Ohio that has something like this. Usually they wait and then they have a big increase, and then they wait again and they have another big increase. Our financial advisory committee did not want to do that, and our policy committee passed that. The last thing I want to talk about is litter along the highways. As many of you know, that's a huge problem in our community throughout Montgomery County. At the transfer station, the district is allowed to pass rules and regulations for the overall management of solid waste. At the transfer station in 2024, the Board of County Commissioner passed a new rule requiring that anybody that comes into the solid waste transfer station to have a tarped load. So that law is not currently being enforced yet. I recently came into my position back in February, so I'm still getting adjusted to some things, but we are moving forward with the implementation of that. First, we've got to develop an education awareness program. That's something that we just don't want to throw on the public because it's a big change. Many people don't tarp their loads. We've been doing some counts here lately, and about 10% of our customers tarp their loads. The rest do not. So we've got a lot of work to do to help educate folks and get them prepared for this new rule. We're going to develop a public education awareness program during 2025. We will roll it out probably this fall in 2025 through the first quarter of 2026. And then we will probably implement it in the spring of 2026. There will be fines associated if you don't have your load tarp, but we're going to provide grace period of probably about 3 months just to allow people that are frequent users to understand that, okay, you made a mistake, you didn't hear about it somehow, some way, and so we're gonna go ahead. We don't want you to turn around and going back home with your load or illegally dumping it somewhere. So go ahead and go through, dump your load, and then, but next time, just remember that we have this. So that's kind of the overview of the plan, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Yes, sir.
The tarp load, does that account for trucks with?
I'm sorry.
Does that account for trucks with caps?
No, if your truck is like has a cover over it already, like the trash trucks, they're concealed, covered. So if the truck itself, it has an enclosure over it, that would not require a tarp over that.
Okay, so box trucks are okay as well.
Box trucks, yeah, anytime that the trash is encapsulated, you're fine, but if you have like a trailer, which is pretty much the most common vehicle that we get without tarps, those trailers will have to have a plastic tarp or a canvas tarp. But it has to be a tarp, it can't be like a bed that's strapped down over top of everything. Or like a door, we see a lot of those, come in, it does have to have a tarp.
Okay, and what do you guys do with the recycled material?
Most of our recycling products go to Rumpke, that are processed in Dayton and transported down to Cincinnati for final processing. All of the cardboard gets processed and marketed in Dayton. The orange bags that we collect, those all go to Rumpke, and then they are sent to a special plastics processor here in Ohio. Our tires are taken down to Cincinnati, again, recycled by Rumpke. And actually, they use them for part of their lining operations at their landfills when they build new cells out of those tires. Our yard waste, that's been kind of a really great program for us. Back in 2018, when I first got to the solid waste district, we weren't grinding the material, we were just loading it into semis loose and transporting it to a yard waste company, and we paid $16 a ton for that. In 2019, we bought a grinder. We started grinding the material and putting it into semi trucks. We started getting paid $12 a ton. We recently went out for bid in 2024, and we're now currently getting paid $18 a ton. So we went from paying 16 to another round of getting paid 18. So we got a pretty good return on that. And it will help pay off the debt service of that grinder. It was $700,000 grinder. So that we should get a payback in about 4 years for that. So we're nearing that payoff rate right now.
Bill, I have a question, for Clark, is that just for waste materials? What about if it's like yard waste, like trees, does that stuff have to be tarped too now?
Yes, anything that comes into the transfer station, so if you're bringing recyclables that are not like concealed in your car or something like that, if they're loose in the back, they will have to be tarped. We have had questions, council member, about what if we have it in a garbage can and the garbage cans are like basically strapped down. That's fine, you can do that, because they are basically encapsulated, and that would not require a tarp.
These go for the trash trucks as well, like tarred down.
Yeah, I think like the roll-offs, those big open roll-off boxes, those will have to have a tarp. And most private companies have automatic tarps now, because they can get fined if they're going down the road and that stuff falls off. It doesn't happen a lot to them, but they are required to have tarps. And it will also apply to municipalities, because we do get a lot of municipal trucks in, especially the city of Dayton. And they're a little rough when they come in, so they are going to be required to have tarps on all loads.
Just a comment on that, what you just said, and what Ms. Sexton was saying, DOT law requirements dictate that if you're hauling something in a commercial vehicle and you lose something, that's an unsecured load, that's a DOT violation.
Right.
So that's something, and it applies to village and cities as well.
Yeah.
So, that's my first, I do it all day long around, so where I work at. Second question I have is, every year the village does a tire reclamation thing for the villager. And we usually get 2 40-yard containers over here and fill them clean full. Now, I'm not sure, Daryl, I have to bounce this off of you. I'm not sure, does Rumpke charge us directly for tires, or how does that work? I mean, does it go to the county, or do they take it straight down to?
No, they come
Township
to
the
us.
dump? Okay.
We pay for that.
Will there be, any kind of increase in anything? Because we're gonna continue doing that, because that's very successful.
That's a recycling program. We don't, that fee that I mentioned does not apply to recyclables,
Okay.
just trash.
Because we do that, that's very successful here. We'll fill up 2 40-yard dumpsters like it's
Yeah.
nothing, so, and it cleans up I'm sure we get tires from Perry Township and farmers that don't care, but it cleans up the mess. Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
And the final thing that I would add is, the main reason why I'm here is we are required to get approval from every municipality. We only need to get 70% approval. But I've gone out to, and a couple of my staff have gone out to a couple municipalities, but to pass a resolution, voting to ratify the plan. I think we sent a sample of that to the village. If you didn't get it, let me know, but we would, and we have to have that passed by May 25th. So I can send it to your clerk, council, if you did not receive it. I think we sent it to Mr. Marcus maybe, but we had some issues with wrong people getting those documents. But I'll make sure that your clerk gets a copy. Is your email online, sir?
I can give it to you.
Okay, let me.
I received it.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, it'll be on the next meeting,
Okay.
and it says as long as I send it the next day,
Yeah.
the meeting's the 20th, so on the 20th, you'll have a resolution.
Okay, so you must be the one.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. She's got it. And that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any more questions that you might have.
Everybody got anything for us to know? No. All right, sir.
Right?
Great news.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, let's see where we're at. Next is the approval of the 15/2025 regular meeting minutes. Are there any corrections or changes to these minutes? Nobody? Do I have a motion to approve the 15/2025 regular meeting minutes?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed?
No.
Next on the agenda is unfinished business. Does anyone on council have any unfinished business? Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if I can get an update on the BCI investigation.
What's that?
The BCI investigation, I'm just wanting an update.
You won't know anything until we hear back from the Attorney General. If not heard back from the Attorney General.
Have they accepted it? Have they accepted the,
That's what the Attorney General does. He accepts it or rejects it. So I
Okay.
have heard that.
and at the last meeting, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, said that the investigation is complete, for the municipality, and I'm
Nicholas
wondering-
spoke on that, and I've got a letter, directed, attorney-client privilege letter directed to all city council members that, city managers, village managers want to see that's delivered to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, gonna follow up, I know it's been a couple weeks, have we heard anything on, the recoveries? Are we in the process of moving forth with recoveries?
That's addressed in the letter, sir.
Awesome, thank you, sir.
And one other thing, at the last meeting, I mentioned the questions that I submitted a year ago, and several people had asked, wasn't aware of it, so that's the questions that you got tonight.
Is that this?
Yes, sir.
I think it's not with.
Okay, so
I didn't get that. Okay. I was wondering why it has so many comments.
You cut the line off.
Anybody else?
Yeah, follow up, like, this kind of like, kind of got kicked around the bus, I don't know what's happening with it, just a follow up. Is there anything going on with the, Tammy Lock and Gail Joy, spiel? Is there anything, did that just disappear? I know that that was talked about a while back, I haven't heard nothing, just doing a
We'll
follow
have to refresh my memory on that.
up. So, letter from the attorney that Mr. Derek sent to all of us.
Oh, yes, no, that's gone nowhere. I mean,
Okay,
as
I just
you
wanted to
know,
follow
we, council authorized me to send a response.
Okay.
I sent that response, I reviewed it, and there's been nothing to.
Nothing
report
back.
since then.
Awesome, all right.
So, but I think the message that the attorney sent was something like, respond by exact date, address all our demands or we're filing suit. And no suits.
So nothing,
No.
stagnant water. Yeah, thank you.
Right,
Just
no,
wanted
this is
to-
good news.
Yeah, I just wanted to just follow up. So, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All righty, next on the agenda is new business. Anyone on council have any new business? Nothing? All right. We can bring that up on. All right, next is public comments or questions. I'll call your name and address for the record. You'll have 30 minutes to speak and be heard. Once your time is up, you'll be thanked. No other additional time will be given, and no donation of time by others to others will be allowed. We will not be stopping your time, but may, if necessary, address your comments after you are done speaking. Looks like we only have one person, Shannon Venus, 131.
I'm good, thank you.
You're good? Right, that was quick. Well said. Next is administrative staff comments. Gary, I guess we'll start with you tonight, right? Anything?
Next meeting, we have a planning commission before council on the lot split. Still working on 218 Kane and the other properties. That's pretty much on the table right now.
Okay. Anybody have anything for Gary?
What's at the next meeting? When?
Planning commission,
On the 20th, that's before the council meeting,
right, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Let you know.
We
Anybody?
haven't gotten an email of it yet, but I assume we will. Well, for those who are on planning board, we'll get the email.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else for Gary? Hey, Daryl, how about you, buddy? How's the service department come?
Oh, it's coming along pretty good. I guess I'm here. Dennis is out this evening. He had other things going on. I just have a question for anybody on council. Does anybody feel that I'm not handling my job properly? That I'm not qualified or able to handle my job? Anybody on council?
No,
No,
No.
no, has anybody said something?
Yeah, actually, there's been quite a bit of backdoor talk that I don't know what I'm doing and I'm handling the situation improperly and things aren't getting done to, people's standards. And like I've always told every one of you, if anybody has a problem with me, I'm more than willing to sit down and talk with you or take any kind of direction or have any ideas. I work with a small group. I've got several new guys that I'm trying to get trained. You guys are fully aware of the situation in my department as far as I'm trying to keep day-to-day things going. Mr. Easom is trying to keep the sewer plant, water plant on track, which is a terrible situation right now. It's kind of been hard. I'd say within the last year, it's been a whole lot of weight on my shoulders. I took a lot more on than I really wanted to. But I've spent 8 years here and I would love to continue to do what I think is right for this village. Certain things aren't getting done because we're not able to do them. Again, with weather and water and, certain things can't get handled in a timely fashion due to the fact that I'm not going to destroy something to do something other than what needs done. All I ask of you guys is please work with me, work with my crew. I've got several guys coming in, part-time. We got one part-time lady that started, and she's done wonderful for the first 2 days she's been here. I couldn't ask for a better go-getter, and I mean, hopefully she continues to stick around. I've got a new guy coming in whenever everything gets squared away with Bill and him getting his paperwork and stuff out.
That would be a full-time position.
Yes, that'd be another full-time position.
More seasonal workers to, put 2 teams out there.
Yeah, we got a couple seasonal people coming in, but they're waiting until school finishes. I'm just asking you guys to bear with me. I've got a lot on my plate. I've got 3 guys that are really working hard, trying to get everything done that I asked them to get done, but it's kind of tough right now. Every day I go to work and there's something wrong with that water plant, or not the water plant per se, but the wastewater plant. You fix one thing and 10 things go bad. I'm trying my hardest. And if anybody feels that I'm doing my job wrong, please tell me. That's where I'm at. There's just been a lot of issues that I've heard that everybody else wants to talk about instead of coming to me about. And, I mean, handle it how you want, handle it how you say. I don't know how everybody looks at it. I feel like I run that service department as far as anything other than the wastewater and water treatment plants. If anybody has a problem with that, please tell me. I'm here to listen. We can handle it now.
You
Other
might
than
want to
that,
share the good news that Dennis shared with me, because I'm not sure what the terms are like Dennis does, but you got more of the things operating than you have in the past.
yes and no.
Yeah, well, okay.
Like I said, fix one thing and 5 others seem to come back and bite us. So there is a lot of money that's going to be going out to that wastewater plant due to the fact that we have to. I know you guys have heard that, and it's been, we've made increases on rates and stuff. There's no way around it. Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of money spent at that wastewater plant. There's a lot of things that I would have liked to have seen happen for the village that I've gave up due to the fact that money needs to go there because it's more important. I'm still going to continue to try to do everything I can to keep the rest of the village in track and in order. But I mean, it's every day we're getting kicked hard because of that wastewater plant. And it's due to years of trying to band-aid and make fixes instead of correcting things. So there's going to be a lot of hard money spent there, but I promise you guys it's going to the better. It's not fixing, it's replacing, repairing. We're not fixing anymore. I'm tired of putting band-aids on things and hoping it gets me by 5 months because this is going to break. I want things repaired, replaced, that way we don't have to worry about them and we can go on to other things. So.
If I can say, I've seen you guys out working the other day up there by Dollar General. You guys working really hard cleaning that up. And then I think it was like the day before, I seen Kyle going around spraying. You guys are doing an awesome job from the get-go. When things were rough, I think you did. There's somebody that's known you for a long time. I think you impressed me with the way you took on everything, being understaffed at the time. And I honestly think you did a phenomenal job. I think you and your guys are doing an outstanding job. I think there's times where you guys don't get enough credit. And, as for dealing with the wastewater sewer plant, I know that's in catastrophic territory, has been. And I appreciate you going through with the guys, everybody included in the service department, and getting that, I don't want to say fixed, but repaired to not just Band-Aid style, but being repaired to where it's going to be functional. I know it's going to be a cost, and I think it'll be probably the best money this village has spent in a very, very, very long time. And it's very well overdue. And I appreciate the time that you guys have to put into dealing with that, going into that type of situation. And that's, what you guys are paid for, but still it's not fun. And I appreciate that. And you've known me for a long time, and I would call me biased, but I think you and the guys have done an outstanding job. And I see you working. Everybody in the service department is literally busting their tails for this village, and I think that needs to be recognized. And, just want to thank you and the guys. So thank you.
Appreciate
It is seen, and regardless of what's said by a few is meaningless. I work around this town on a daily basis, and I either see Glenn constantly working or you guys constantly working, doing an outstanding job, and that needs to be stated. So thank you.
Let me just caveat on that. You and I go back a long time.
Absolutely.
A long time. And, by you absorbing what we've all had to absorb this year or last year has been this overwhelming process. Especially you and getting the turnaround that you had down there. And you've straightened it up. I mean, really, Daryl. And you know me. I've gotten right up into your nose plate before it says stuff to you. Just like what Timmy said. You guys and Gary and Shannon and everybody else that's moved forward into this community and helped this community and turn it around. You're not going unrecognized. And we understand, I know. You know, you get a lot of people complaining about, well, potholes, all this, all that. Well, you can't put coal patch or asphalt and stuff in civil before you let stuff dry out. It takes a little bit of time. You know, same thing with mowing. You can't mow when the grass is swamped. So you guys just keep working like you do. Work as a team, work together, keep everybody safe, Daryl and Gary. You know, that's the important part. Everybody goes home at night. Bottom line. New people, part-timers, keep an eye on these kids, which I know you will, and keep an eye on everybody else. We just can't have everybody get hurt. We gotta keep everybody safe. And I sincerely appreciate what you've been doing for this community. And like I said, you and I go back a long time too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
On one last side note, on the potholes. So my dad's very good friends with Oakley Blacktop, who has been in business for probably longer than I've been alive. And even he stated that putting coal patch in with early on is just a waste of money.
Coal patch is great for what it's designed to do. It is a temporary fix. Unfortunately, you can't go through and fix a whole road with coal patch.
And neither will the dirt patcher either. The dirt patcher is
And the dirt patcher, I
traffic
think,
roads, not pothole road.
the dirt patcher is designed for something totally different than I think it has been portrayed to be done with.
Yes,
The dirt patcher is not designed to fix potholes. It's not designed to fix roads.
correct.
It is designed to fix, we call it scaling or alligatoring
Yeah.
roadways.
Yeah.
Not holes. It's designed to prevent holes from happening.
Yes.
You see a lot of dirt patch on backcountry roads that are, you see a patch of gravel that's dirt patch, chip seal.
Yeah.
It's not designed to fill potholes.
Yeah.
Actually, when you use a dirt patcher to fix potholes, you make more of a mess than you would if you would have just put coal patch in one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like I said, we're spending quite a bit of money toward, the wastewater plant. To me, I feel that's probably the right area to do it. Some roads are gonna still be kind of rough. Unfortunately, I'm going to do what I can as far as putting coal patch in, to prevent any damage to vehicles. I can't do it when it's raining. I can't put my guys out there filling holes when they're downpour rain that's literally gonna blow out by the time they get to the other end of the street.
No,
There's certain things that just we kind of have to deal with due to nature that are, it's how it is. With that being said, though, certain things haven't been done in a timely fashion. That's why things are as bad as they are now. Roads, wastewater plant.
It's not like this just happened within a year.
Exactly. I'm trying my hardest to keep everything afloat without sinking a ship somewhere. So
When somebody who's been in blacktopping for 30 years is saying you guys are doing it right, that goes up for me. As for mowing, I've been in the profession for as long as you know. Mowing wet grass is not good. One, it can damage your equipment. It can get it stuck. I mean, it's just been my profession for darn near 20 years. So, it might be a little bit taller grass, but you're not putting as much wear and tear on your equipment and possibly breaking that. So it is appreciated. Just wanted to throw a little bit of insight on there. Keep it up and don't worry about loudmouth minority.
thank you.
Anybody else have anything for Daryl? Keep on.
I'll keep it brief. On last Wednesday, we had our public safety meeting. we had a good turnout. A lot of people showed up, asked a lot of good questions. I encourage everybody still, if you have any questions, if anything comes up, you don't understand what's going on or what crime's actually occurring or anything else, give me a call, email me. I can pull stats, I can explain stuff about what's going on, why things are happening and what the actual stats are. So there's been a lot of talk about that stuff lately. So if anybody has any questions, reach out to me. And beyond that, we're rescheduling the parade. It was supposed to be Saturday, got moved out. That'll now be this coming Saturday.
NOA, right?
Yes. It'll be 10 a.m.
The public meeting, did anything come out of that? Did you get any watch groups?
People ask questions about it. I haven't been contacted by anybody who's willing to start one yet. So we're still pushing for neighborhood watches. So if anybody knows anybody or is wanting to try to start one, let me know. We'll help support that.
Bill's also finalizing the process of bringing some new officers.
Full-time and part-time?
Yeah, so currently we got two in the background stage right now. One's full-time, one's part-time. And then we have another part-time or another full-time candidate that took the test. Once the other two backgrounds get done, hopefully this week, we're just waiting on 2 personnel files from agencies. Once those 2 get done, then we'll start the background on the third candidate. And then this week I received applications from 2 more people for full-time. I haven't vetted them yet to see if they're OPATA certified yet or anything like that. So, but there's 2 other people that I've put in. So I'll contact them this week to see if they're certified and if they meet our minimum standards.
What will that bring your numbers up to once you get them on board?
So at the meeting we had talked, we're gonna hire 2 more full-timers. So that would bring us from 5 up to 7. And then the police chief spot's still open also. So that would then bring us up to 8 once the 2 extra full-timers plus the police chief spots.
Plus the part-timer?
Yeah, plus 1 more part-timer. So then we got 6 part-timers right now. So if we hire that part-timer, that would bring us up to 7.
So 15 total.
Yes.
Plus you have people in the wings for more, bring more people.
Yes, possible.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify, you got 1 full-time, 1 part-time.
We got 1 full-time, 1 part-time in the background stage right now. 1 full-timer that has taken the written test. And then we just got 2 new interest cards for full-times.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would like to ask a question on some things. So I know that the car theft has been an issue. From my understanding, I believe when we spoke, there's areas that are around New Lebanon that are worse off than us. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's been, somebody said that we had 3 car thefts last week alone, and that's not true. We've had 4 total car thefts reported this year. We have 1 where the person, it was a known person who wound up with the keys to the vehicle that took it. We have 1 where we've recently found out that there was money owed on the vehicle, and I was out there driving around that day and I saw a repo vehicle with a similar style car on it. So we haven't verified yet that it was a repo, but there's a possibility that it was. We have 1 that the insurance company is now not paid out on. So we're working with the insurance company to figure out what they have that led them to not pay out on it. That hasn't been provided.
Documentation.
Yeah, there was stuff that was a small portion of it was provided to us. The insurance company, they gave the insurance company more. So we're trying to figure out what the insurance company had that led them to not pay out on it. So then we have 1 that is still entered as stolen.
Okay.
And then there's also a lot of talks about thefts from vehicles, about people going through unlocked cars. We've had I think I wrote it down actually.
I think the simplest solution for that is lock your cars, right?
That helps.
I mean, that's very simple. I mean, common sense to me.
We've had a total of 7 thefts this year. 4 of them were known people, either family members or friends that didn't involve cars. 1 was a shoplifter. 1 was a fraud where somebody claimed that they had $25 million in a duffel bag and the person just had to pay the taxes to get it from Turkey. And the other, so we've had 1 that was an unknown person and it was groceries from someone's front porch $65 worth of stuff from, I think it was Walmart. So there's been a lot of posts about vehicle thefts and thefts from motor vehicles, that there's escalating and more of it going on if it's happening.
Yes.
People aren't calling and telling us about it.
Yeah.
So, because we've only had those, 7 thefts, and that's it. And nothing from cars or anything else.
And I think the big thing is that if like it's a vehicle theft, like someone stealing the car, it's hard for you guys to follow up until another police agency or you guys cover said vehicle in whatever form. You can't really follow up with those people other than, hey, your car's still missing, we're waiting for another, jurisdiction or to give us back. There's nothing really we can do,
And that's a big problem we have is, so we'll take the report, put it in the lead to stolen. Oftentimes, before the person even knows the car's stolen, it's wound up crashed out in Dayton or involved in a chase. The last car that we had stolen that was recovered, it was stolen here. They arrived in a stolen vehicle, stole our car, went to Lewisburg, broke into cars, went to Brookville, broke into cars, went to Huber, broke into cars. And then it wound up crashed out in Dayton.
Yeah.
And that was all before it was even reported stolen here. So very often it's being passed around to different groups. So by the time it's finally found, it's gone through multiple hands.
Yeah.
So we're having issues where even when we process vehicles and we get fingerprints or DNA back, we can prove that somebody was in the vehicle, but we can't do charges because we can't prove that they're the ones that
It's all
took the vehicle.
Yeah.
So, until the vehicle is actually recovered, there's not a whole lot that we can do beyond try to get camera footage from the neighborhood to ID who the people were.
Yeah.
But oftentimes it's a group of people that they show up in a car, 4 or 5 people get out, they go down the street just trying car handles until they find another car that has keys in it.
Yeah.
And then they hop in that car and go.
Yeah.
So we have camera footage of them, but oftentimes they're wearing hoods and
Covering.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's hard to specifically ID who it is. So, and then even if we get stuff back from the vehicle, we often can't prove that they're the specific person who stole it.
Yeah, I think the best and safest way is 1, don't leave your keys in your car, and 2, lock your cars like you lock your house when you leave.
Lock your cars, do not leave valuables, handguns, that's a huge thing, money, purses, tools. And if you're outside and you see something, call us, because both our last 2 car thefts that were done by groups, we had multiple people that actually saw people going down the street car to car.
And then do that.
But they didn't call until after the vehicle, they saw them get in a car and were like, that's odd, and then they left. So we had people witness them going.
Yeah, so like the checking the car overhangers wasn't like not normal to them. Yeah.
So if people see something, call us.
Call us.
Call 911, call dispatch. We have people that will wait until the office opens up. They'll wait a couple days and call. They'll drive around until they see a officer sitting somewhere. Best thing to do is as soon as you see something and you think that's weird, call us. Because I'd rather us go out and check on it and it be nothing.
Yeah.
Then you see something and by the time you decide to call, the car's gone.
And that person, and if they call on time, they might be able to stop the person from doing that. I know car thefts have been really bad. My dad works out in Dayton, and I think he's found over 10 cars where he's at, where they just dump them. So it's really bad. Just keep your, to me, it's common sense. You don't leave your keys in your car, and you lock your stuff. One last question. So during I think we have 2 officers on day and 2 officers on night? Because I thought the other night I seen 2 officers.
Yeah, so right now, our standard schedule, so we're working 12s. So schedule wise, there's always 1 officer scheduled for patrol. Then I'm on an admin schedule during the day. So when you see 2 officers out, there's either a part-time officer that's coming to work, or we started doing overtime shifts to increase our 2 officer coverage, especially in the afternoons and nights, because that's when our call volume is highest and most of these car thefts are happening.
Well, I just want to let you know that the presence that I have seen, living on Main Street, of course, but also while I'm out working, has been phenomenal. And I want to pat you on the back for that, because living in this town for 35 years, I have not ever seen the police coverage like it's being done now. And you are managing things better than, in my opinion, the former chiefs of this town, that at least during my time. I watched them going up and down, speeding vehicles. There was a vehicle that went around my house. The officer was very cautious, staying in pursuit. And the person pulled out in front of a car. The officer was very cautious. But the presence is definitely seen on the main street and in the side streets. My business, I work all throughout New Lebanon, so I see you guys patrolling, and I just want to thank you guys, and it's awesome.
I appreciate
So
that.
thank you.
I'll pass it on to the officer.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody have anything else for police chief? Laura, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So as it sits right now, we can get 2 officers on a shift.
We can when we have people that volunteer to take the overtime. If people don't work the overtime, then it's scheduled as one. So when there's 2 officers out there, there's either a part-timer that came in to work that shift, or a full-timer picked up in a posted overtime shift. So on a regular schedule, the only time that there's 2 people on is when I'm in during the week on the admin schedule. But beyond that, there's not.
For 3 Friday.
Yeah, sometimes, especially when Clarkson's working, because he has his admin duties, they'll have a part-timer come in so he can sit in the office and approve reports and schedule stuff.
That was gonna be my next question. How does that work? If you have 1 officer on, do they sit in the office and do their admin duties, or
It depends.
or
So
are they patrolling the streets?
yeah, if they don't have admin work, then they're out doing traffic stops, patrolling, all that stuff. If they catch a case and they have to do a report, the guidance is that they're to attempt to get all their reports done prior to going home. So if they catch a dispute report or a theft report, oftentimes they'll take that call, and then as soon as they clear, they'll come back and do paperwork. Currently, if you take a report and there's follow-ups, you have to do all your own follow-ups and investigations. So there's times where they have to come back and, call people, emails, things like that. So, if there's only 1 person on, then yeah, there's times where they're in the office doing paperwork and not out patrolling. But once they're done with that stuff, then they head back out.
Okay, and then last question, how close are we to getting rid of the cars out back?
We had just talked about that. So we need a resolution from council, basically, putting them in surplus. And then after that, Shannon got the titles for the Rangers now, because that's one of the last things that we were waiting on. So as soon as we put a resolution, putting them in surplus, I can list them on gut deals. And then that auction usually lasts about 2 weeks, and then they'll be gone after that.
Okay. I said last question, I have 1 more.
In regards to that, the goal is to try to do all of the departments in, so you have one resolution. And get a spring cleaning.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, there's,
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Right,
everybody's got some.
the hiring process,
Mhm.
how long does that take?
It depends. We shoot for 1 to 2 months. A lot of that comes down to the issue that we have right now is the background portion takes a while. A lot of times it has to do with us getting personnel files from places. Some places are super easy. We send a release and they either email or fax the files. There's some places that they make you come in. Some places, they don't answer the phone. So when you have an officer that has, a work history, that can take longer than somebody that has just one prior agency. We also do reference checks. I know we were having issues with one of the references not being available to answer questions and things. So that can slow it down. The longest portion of the process is the background portion, and then getting them scheduled for their physical. So, it's taken longer now than what I would like it to, but that's because of staffing levels. We don't have, the only two people that are experienced and trained in doing backgrounds are me and Kaz. And I know one of the candidates, so Kaz is trying to work midnights while also do the backgrounds. So that's kind of slowing us down some because we're juggling multiple stuff, which once we get the staff in, that'll help us, you know, spread the workload out.
Okay. And then, my last thing that I have, someone has stated we basically have shifted again in the police department. So basically kind of went backwards again. And I guess my question to you is, what can you do to rest assured that that is not the case and the community is safe? Because this is not the first time a person has made this comment, and I feel like no one has really put them in their place. So they're getting their information from somewhere, and from what you say and they say are completely two different things. So,
I guess I would have to know what the comment.
okay, I'll show you.
Okay. Because was it in person or was it online?
Online.
Okay, because there's, like I said, there's a lot of comments out there online that aren't based in what's actually going on. You know, about car thefts and thefts from bulls and staffing and all that stuff. So we're still rebuilding. We're still talking about staffing levels and everything else. We just had a meeting last Monday about budget, and then you announced at the meeting Wednesday that we were increasing the hiring one more. So it's still a work in progress. We're still working on things. So we have officers out there all the time taking, you know, making traffic stops, taking reports,
Oh, I see.
patrolling,
I
all that
see.
stuff. So, and I mean, I don't want to be flippant about it, but there's always somebody that has something to say about how we're doing something wrong, or this isn't right, or, you know, in the past, this was going on. So I can only focus on what we have right now and where we would like to go. Is our staffing level the same as what it was prior? It's not. We're at 5 full-timers and 6 part-timers, but we're trying to hire people. So, it's a work in progress, and we're working on it as fast as we can. But I also don't want to try to push people through just to get staffing levels up, and we get somebody that slips in that shouldn't got started.
Sure.
So, and we have a lot of younger, newer officers that are doing a lot of the things they haven't done in the past, because we're trying to push responsibilities off onto other people, so it frees us up. So we have a lot of moving parts and a lot of people that are getting used to what they're doing. So we have to walk before we can run, and we're going as fast as we can without making mistakes.
Thank you.
So,
I have 2 quick responses that'll be just yes or no, and then one will be a little bit of detail. There is no guideline for how many officers that we have. Like, it's not like we need 10 full-time and 5 part-time. Like, there's no set guideline.
correct. There's no document or charter or
That says
anything
any-
else that says that our authorized strength is X number of full-timers, X number of part-timers, auxiliary.
That's fine. And then the next one would be, we have the same amount of officers on the road on shifts that we did. Like, on day there's 2, and night there's typically 1, I think, from before the new administration. That's what we've got on the road currently, correct?
Sometimes, yes. So, there's a different, like, I'm on during the days, and I respond to calls. You know, I went to 3 or 4 calls today. I took an OBI last week. So I'm still responding to things, but I also have admin duties. So I'm working on our capital projects now. There's paperwork on that. I just went through a collaborative audit. We just got our provisional approval for category 7, which is our evidence processing. That just came back today. There's currently a leads technical audit that I'm doing. So I have a lot of admin tasks also where I'm not out on the road. So I'm responding to priority calls, and then like when there's a court run and stuff, I'll listen to the radio. But we would like to get And then in the evenings, if there's not a full timer that took an overtime shift or a part timer that picked up, then there's only one person on. So we would like to get to the point where we're scheduling 2 people on the road, so that when calls come out, you have two people already in cars that can respond.
And I think most of the time at night, there was just normally one officer on duty, so the fact that we have 2 at times now seems like a good thing. But my next thing, just so we can speed this along, I know that you guys have to document the report, and then you document on your computer, then you have to come back here and file. I know we spoke about, like, maybe there's a program or something to where if they're not having to, while they're there on scene, document, come back and do paperwork. It should be an easy way of filing it for you guys, because that should free you guys up.
So that's one of the things that I'm working on with the capital budget. Currently, our cruisers are, they need some work on them. Our MDTs, they're old and need replaced. We currently use Surface Pros, which are not ruggedized. They're just off the shelf. We've upgraded to LTE because we used to have a Wi-Fi hotspot in the MDT, which caused issues with droppage and everything else. So we've improved on that, but our current MDTs are not built for what we do. So one of the things I'm working on is a proposal to upgrade our MDTs, which will be more expensive than what we currently have in the short term, but they will last longer and do the job better. And then along with that is getting like a in-car printer, so that when they have to do certain forms and things, they don't have to take the info on scene, then come back to the PD, fill the forms out and print them, and then go back out to the scene and have somebody sign them. So there's a lot of things that we can do to increase our functionality and streamline our processes to make it easier for officers to do more. It's just a matter of, we have to pick what we want to do and how we want to do it, and then find out what that funding cost will be, and then plan on that stuff.
All right, thank you.
How many cars are working now?
Currently,
Or how many do you have?
that's a good question. So currently, cruiser wise, we have 5 that are marked and outfitted, ready to go. One car 15 is currently out of service. We have an electrical issue where the light bar doesn't work. And then car 14, I have to get with Carson. It sounded like we were having a potential engine issue. I want to say he put a reader on it and there's an issue with one of the cylinders. So that's still in service, but we're kind of being light on it. So in service on a regular basis, we have car 11, which is the old Explorer, car 16, and car 13. Car 12, which is our 6th cruiser, we stripped it down, so it currently doesn't have markings, and everything is taken out of it. It's sitting in the back, because all that stuff was supposed to go into the new Explorer that's been sitting out there. So that car is supposed to be our 6th patrol car, but it needs upfitted. It's been striped, but it doesn't have a console, it doesn't have lights, it doesn't have anything.
What's the whole up that we can't get moving cars?
Right now, it's just funding. So when I started working on the project in 24, those funds were supposed to be rolled over into this year's budget, and those funds weren't. So we're working now. We spent Monday to talk about that, and they're fast tracking all that stuff to get that stuff done.
I can touch on that a little bit when I do my report.
Yeah, because there's basically 2 things. One is upfitting the new cruiser, and then the second one is, so our current cars, they only have front radar cones. So we purchased rear radar cones so that they can run traffic from both sides. And then we also got in-car cameras. It's got a front camera and a camera in the back seat. We got those last year. So we're going to retrofit all the old cars to put the new radar cones in them as well as the cameras. So that, as well as the upfitting of the cruisers, we've discussed a lot, and that's supposed to get done soon.
Good.
Awesome. Anybody else or anything for the issue? Water.
Not much else other than what I've gone through already, Mayor. Village manager myself have not had time to coordinate the schedule and have extensive discussion of priorities for the law director and legal issues that are on the village manager's mind. We're doing that next week. So I expect we'll be reviewing that for council next meeting.
Anybody have anything for the law director? Okay, municipal manager, you're up, sir.
Thank you. A couple of the items I heard being discussed in regards to the roads, and tennis courts at the parks. I'm meeting with Choice One engineers this week, to see where we go, move forward with that. A lot of discussion on the budget. We are starting a meeting, with all the department heads, in regards to the 5-year budget. What we discovered is we're also working on 2025 because some things that we thought were appropriated, some things that we thought were set aside, we're discovering aren't there. So we're revisiting the 2025 budget, unfortunately. I'm just going to leave it at that because it's just an unfortunate circumstance. Vice Mayor Atkins, in regards to the boards, we were looking at those, and we're already coming up council members for the parks. And so we're going to bring up the commissions for the boards at the next council meeting. Because we've already got the 2 representatives from the council on the parks as an example. In regards to the police, I'm working with Officer Clarkson and trying to resolve the union contract that was not finalized prior to the end of 2024 for 2025. I'd like to get that resolved in the next week or 2. It will come with a cost of retro pay because it goes all the way back to the beginning of 2025, just to give you guys a heads up in advance. Meeting with Gary, we're trying to get together and hopefully even by next council in creating some teeth for the zoning board or his role and responsibilities. So we can try to present something, a solid framework to get a working discussion prior to one of the council meetings or after council, well, no, not after council meeting, look at the clock, prior to, so that there's necessary changes. So Gary's already starting to research, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's out there. There's communities that are doing it properly, and so we got to step up to the plate and give more teeth and more accountability. That's kind of across the board that we're looking at in all our departments. The accountability issues, and we're also starting to look at social media in regards to at least the village employees and how we can go forward, because we all know social media is very strong in the village of New Lebanon, and so we don't need to get into the mix ourselves as employees. So those are a couple things. Like Mike said, we're gonna get together next week to get some other issues right there, and also some hopefully resolution for the police chief in the very near future. So keep you updated on that.
Anybody have anything for a municipal manager?
Hi there. I don't know who's in charge of this and who isn't, so I'm gonna come to you. And it's about the zoning. When we do our zoning meetings, we used to always have in our packet, actually, the agenda. Me and Marcus was talking about this at the meeting. I told my son bring it up because he was saying the agenda, we always have the agenda for what the meeting's about, and that was not done. Because he's like, I'm gonna have to make it up as he goes. And then we also have hard copy in our packets when it comes in, whoever's on the council wise on there, we have a hard copy of it. Of the zoning, everything, the documentation, everything that was written up is in our packets too. And it has not been, but it used to be. And we like to go back to that because it's so much easier. Because everybody, like Marcus, he didn't even check his email this morning. So.
In response to that, I was grateful for Marcus and that he threw something together relatively quickly, because that was one of my first questions, where's my script for today? So that will be addressed.
Okay, because I told him, I said, I'll bring it up, I'll be the backpack, I'll bring it up.
Nobody's asked,
But
That was no
it's,
mistake.
it is something that we always have, and I don't know whose job it is, you know, like I said, we was talking about it, and he's like, I really don't know whose job it is, but. You know, just have it in the packet, have it written out, have it all uniform in one section. All the diagrams, everything that needs to be with them when we have it, and then be able to get it. It'd
Yes.
be nice.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
That's all I have.
Anybody, anything else for municipal amendment? All right, council member comment, Mr. Sands, we'll start with you, sir.
I have nothing.
Thank you, Ms. Sexton.
I do, Mr. Vicky, I spoke with him, he said they had a fire put out. This would be for the fire chief, but he's not here. And he had said he had burned a small fire, it was contained in a little stand-up fire pit that he had, just some wood. It was put out by the fire department. It was just, I believe it was a little after 6. He had no idea that you could not burn, because right now it's, you can burn anywhere, but I guess 6 o'clock and after, you can't burn, but in order to find that out, you have to go to the state. I mean, no one, I don't think in this community would know to go to the state for the guidelines. So that needs to be posted somewhere. I burned before 6 o'clock and I would have no idea. So I have that printed out, that I can pass along as well.
And we are meeting with our website designer this week, or is it next week?
What?
Website,
One meeting this week and then one a week after.
Okay,
That'll go.
that's it.
Mr. Joy, anything, sir?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mr. Beck.
Just service department, police department, you guys keep up the good work. And then real quick for the municipal manager, if we can maybe go through this, have you go through this stuff and post this on the village webpage for the protection against the deed fraud, the veteran identification program, and the transfer on that, just for the public, to be, for insight. And then maybe also a notice that Montgomery County is, about their waste management as well. That way citizens can go online and see the updated stuff. Other than that, that would be it.
Mr. Cooper.
I don't have anything.
Vice Mayor Action.
I'd just like to thank the police department, service department, and even the zoning department for you guys' work that you guys are doing. And I'd also like to address Gail about the questions that that I read in front of us. I just wanted to let you know that I have no answers for any of these questions because I don't have any knowledge of any of them. So just to let you know.
Thank you.
I forgot one thing, I'm sorry. Bill, I'm just gonna ask you for the garden, is there any way we can work in $200 or $250 for just maybe a startup budget? Just for,
yeah, that seems
I mean-
extremely reasonable, if not more.
yeah, so that's my thought on that.
Anything else? Just a comment I'd like to make, and just from listening to everybody and talking to the police chief and Gary and everything. If you can't see that this community is moving forward with forward progress and everything that's being accomplished, then you're wearing blinders or you don't care. Okay? I can see it. We all can see it. Things are getting better. It's not gonna get fixed overnight. It's not gonna get fixed in a year. It might not get fixed in 2 years. But by God, we sure are moving forward. And we're not going backwards.
No, it's
So-
just time.
Right. So I thank all you guys. I thank everybody up here to sit up here and that listens to it, that listens to all the mess. Daryl and Gary and the police chief, you guys are doing a phenomenal job. You make sure you tell everybody that we appreciate you, all of you. Shannon, you're doing a great job, and we appreciate you. And it can only get better. You know, there's other communities around our community that sucks. I'm sorry, look at Perry Township. They have no cops on duty. Hardly ever. Nobody. You know, we have officers on duty in our town that protect us. These people out in Perry Township have nobody. The county has to come over, it could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, who knows? And thank goodness that Chief Workman, we have an officer available that can go over there for an emergency if they need something from New Lebanon to help out a community. They have 0 officers that are on duty. It's terrible. So for people to talk about this community going downhill and going backwards, take your blinders off, take a big breath of fresh air and look around and see what's going on in this town. Sure, there's things that need fixed. Daryl, I'm with you 100%. That sewer plant, 50 years, that thing hasn't been addressed. Up until we've noticed it, you've noticed it, he's noticed it, everybody else has noticed it. We have audit people that are taking care of audits. We figured out the sewer rate efficiency. We're $170,000 in the hole. If we didn't get that fixed, we would have been done by next year. You know? So we're moving forward, we're getting things fixed. Might not be as quick as you want it to be, but by God, we're taking positive steps forward, not backwards. And if they don't like it, then put the blinders back on and don't worry about it. Don't say nothing.
Or say,
Or say something.
I don't care.
I'm tired of being sued and I'm done, and it's ongoing and I'm done with it. If we're doing the best we can, if you think you can do better, try it. Run for a seat. Okay.
And by the way, Mike, just real quick. When we do go for, like, we get stuff back from BCI and we do go for recoveries, and we post that on the village website in the biggest, boldest letters we have.
The size is determination is not my job, but I'll give you the time.
It's like so big, bold letters.
That's all up to you.
In closing, I want to thank everybody. We're moving forward, and that's what we said that we were going to do when we were doing it. Okay, so thank you very much for everybody's help. All right. So let's keep going because we're running late tonight, but that's okay. There's nobody on the agenda tonight. We'll skip that portion. Our next regular council meeting will be Tuesday, May 20th at 7:30 p.m. At this time, we'll have a motion to adjourn this regular council meeting. Second. She's ready to go.
Councilmember Beck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Atkins,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Sexton,
Yes.
Councilmember Joy,
Yes.
Mayor Dickerson,
Yes.
Councilmember Sands.
Yes.
That's 7 votes yes.
One thing real quick, before we cut out of here. Mr. Perkins is having some medical treatment down here the next week or so keep them in your thoughts and prayers. If you guys need anything, you call me. I don't care what it is. And I'll go to the hospital and sit with him. I have to. I'm sorry.
Man, you want to turn the lights off and the lights on, we're gonna have a